Good morning. Just had my coffee. Figured I'd drink it before I get on here because I get on here with my coffee in my hand and then it's cold by the time I start talking. So, good news. I'm down about 56 pounds ish or something like that. Doing very well. About to jump out here and work out, throw some music and stuff on. Topic of today is labor, technician pay. The reason I want to talk about this is because yesterday I talked about how Chris Farley, if you guys didn't know, Chris Farley is the comedian. He's the cousin to Jim Farley, which is the CEO of Ford. I call Jim Farley Chris Farley because, for one, they're family, and number two, pretty much most of the things that comes out of Jim Farley's mouth, it's got to be a joke. So I just throw the two together, and his name is Chris Farley. His cousin's name is his name. What I don't get is the stuff that's been going on lately with these manufacturers claiming that they don't know what to do, they don't know how to fix things, they don't know how to make technicians more happy, they don't know how to entice more people to be in the field, when it's clearly a them problem. It's not an us problem. They're the ones that are penny pinching, and a lot of these CEOs, a lot of these business people and stuff like that, they come on board, they make things better for a while, and then before things hit the fan, they end up selling all their shares, doing this, doing that, making a ton of money, and then they bail, and then a new CEO steps in and they're fixing the problem. Now, a few years ago, I think it was around 2020, 2021, when Illinois, let me make sure I still got it. When Illinois came out with that HB 3940 labor law, 30th, 2021, J.B. Pritzker, our governor, signed it into law, HB 3940. On January 1st, 2022, it went into straight full effect. What that was there was a group of people that got together from the union. There was technicians from all kinds of different fields, from the diesel field to like locomotives or whatever, any type of technician or mechanic that would be working on something that was in the union. They went and they studied what was going on with their warranty claim labor laws and stuff like that, what the manufacturers were paying. And it wasn't just automotive guys that had a problem with what was going on. It was also people from like the diesel field, heavy equipment field and stuff like that. There was a technician in one of their videos that I watched where they were talking about how the pay is unfair. And he said, a customer will come in here and they've got this big giant rig. It could be a stationary rig. It could be a rig that's an over-the-road rig, like a big semi. And to do this cylinder head in this, there's so much that's got to come apart. It's so heavy. There's specialty tools required and everything else. And a lot of those tools we have to supply ourselves, which we don't get compensated for. There's some places that do. Most places don't compensate technicians for tools. Some give a tool allowance every year. Some give a boot allowance every year. Some buy the boots out of a catalog because they don't want to give the allowance, but they want you to order through them, so they make sure you're using the money for the boots, which, whatever, I don't care. Some shops actually have toolboxes built into, but you still have to supply your tools. And then there are other shops that actually supply the tools and the boxes, but you don't always quite get what you want, and you don't always quite get what you need to do the job easier in those situations. You might prefer something else, but tough titty said the kitty at that point, so it's like, what do you do? Anyhow, when they were surveying this diesel guy, he was on top of this engine, he was pulling the cylinder head. He said, when a customer brings this rig in here, this is like a 40-hour job. I mean, it takes me literally all week if I'm just working 8 hours to get this cylinder head done, because so much has got to be ripped apart, so much has got to be spec'd, so much has got to be taken apart and cleaned and rebuilt. And some of these cylinder heads, they're not like regular car cylinder heads. They're the length of a freaking coffee table, or what, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you get it. And he says, this is literally book time for a customer pay. I get paid 40 hours to do this head, which is a common repair on these. But under warranty time, the same head only pays 25 hours. How can the manufacturer get out of paying me that other 15 hours, knowing darn well that this is not an easy job? This is a very labor intensive, very heavy, takes a lot of thought process, and I'm doing all the work in-house, the building, the miking, the fixing, the milling, whatever it is. I'm doing it all in-house sometimes, and I can't even get paid a decent wage because the manufacturer is undercutting me, while the customer brings that same vehicle and they're paying 15 hours more. Well, after they talked to enough technicians and seen this, and I was a huge advocate for this in the beginning because I blew up in the middle of a Ford shop one time. There was a rep from corporate that came in, and he's standing in the Ford shop, and he's like looking at Quick Lane, and he's looking at everybody else, and he says, any questions, any concerns, while we were like in the middle of the shop having a meeting real quick before he left. And I said, yeah, me. At this point, I get a little vulgar. So if you have children around or loved ones around that you don't want to hear the language, please ask them to leave or stop the video and pick it back up later and finish watching it. Or if you got earbuds or something and hopefully people around you can't hear it, I just want to give you that warning now. I'm very passionate about this, and I do curse whenever I get excited sometimes. Let's proceed. I can't be quiet about this anymore, man. And this is like right before the labor law actually went into effect and stuff like that. I said this, I think, what was it? There was a recall, and I just had to check real quick to make sure I was right, and sure enough I was, because I remember it's burned into my head now. I did so many of these freaking things. It's 20C19. It was a faulty backup camera recall. And we would do them on F-150s, we would do them on SUVs and stuff for Ford, we would do them on the Transits. And my boss was like, yeah, we got a Transit out there, it's got super low miles and stuff on it, so you're probably no need for an inspection and stuff like that. If you just want to do a quick glance over, make sure brakes and everything are okay, then just do the recall and let it go. Don't waste your time on it. This guy doesn't buy a lot of stuff from us anyway. He's got his own mechanics. So I did a brush over on it and stuff, brought it in. You know, I had to go find it in the lot. There's a few minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on how big your lot is. Then I had to get the vehicle started, bring it in, verify the VIN, go to parts, pull the parts that were already pre-ordered, get back to the vehicle, get my tools ready to do the job, open the back door, take the paneling off in the back door, take the exterior plastic piece off that pops off all the way around. There's like 8 plastic pieces that pop into the body, and then those plastic pieces typically break, but they don't give you those. You got to order those separately. Okay, whatever. Then you got to take the camera and stuff apart, right? Put the new camera in, bolt everything back together, snap everything back together, hook your computer up, link data connect with the vehicle, and line in module network, initialize that camera so all the lines and stuff show up. Point 3. Point 3 is what this pays. So you mean to tell me I can pick this job up and I can go to the parking lot and I can pick this vehicle up from the parking lot. There's 10 minutes. I got it back in my stall. I'm going to get parts. There's another 10 minutes. Then I go to the back of the vehicle, rip everything apart, 15, 20 minutes. And then I got to hook up the computer, another 10, 15 minutes. So by the time this is all said and done, I've got the better part of 45 minutes to an hour, but you're going to fucking pay me 0.3? Who do you think you are? Who do you literally fucking think you are? You think I'm a joke? Here, let me pull up on my computer real quick. So I pull up on my computer real quick, and I said, let's throw the recall out the window. Let's go to the same model Transit, the same fucking model. Go to the computer, go to the SLTS board where all the labor ops and stuff are. Go into the labor ops for replace rear view camera, and rear view camera line alone, a fucking loan, pays 0.9. But then I still got to go find the vehicle. So then there's there's an actual labor time for pulling the vehicle in the stall, getting it set up, hooking up the computer. So let's add 0.2. Now let's add 0.3. Now that 0.9 looks like 1.4, but you're gonna fucking pay me 0.3 on a recall? You think I'm a fucking idiot? Oh, this guy was like, wow, that's not right. Why do you think I deserve less pay? You guys are trying to pull a fast one? Just because it's a fucking recall means that you can stick it up my ass and I'm supposed to sit here and take it? I have a problem with that. And you guys need to stop doing this to technicians. You've been doing this for fucking 40, 50 years plus. Stop. That's why you don't have people in this field. So I was going ape shit over it, right? So I went off. The corporate rep was like, holy shit, yeah, I've heard it's been bad sometimes, but I didn't know it was that bad. I was like, yeah, so you're going to pay me 0.3 to do this recall, but I can literally get 1.3, 1.4 out of it if I'm doing it by regular warranty time. I can get even more if a customer came in an hour and a half plus. Half hour install, half hour on the computer. Even if it's just a fucking hour, it's better than 0.3. I'm not worthless. I'm not a piece of shit. I'm not some crumb on your fucking plate. I'm a human being that provides a professional service to you to make your fucking $200 an hour labor rate at the door. And you give me fucking pennies. I have to supply $70,000 plus worth of tools. I have to supply the knowledge and the time and the frustration of being on this vehicle. I've got to carry the weight of everything that goes wrong in the service department on my shoulders. I'm not a fucking peasant. I'm somebody important. That takes a lot of responsibility to make sure that this vehicle gets in my stall fixed correctly. I don't put any more issues into this vehicle, and it leaves here safely so the customer can get down the road without having any problems or worrying about, was my vehicle fixed correctly? I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in technicians today. I bring the fucking goods, and you pay me 0.3. Oh, this guy was shook. He didn't know what to say. All the other technicians standing in the shop, they're like, wow, Rich, where did that come from? I'm tired of getting screwed. Are you not tired of getting screwed? Are you not tired of eating time, goodwilling stuff? How many of you fucking service managers out there? This is bullshit too, by the way. This is, switch gears a little bit here. How many of you fucking service managers out there at the dealerships will goodwill an engine? That engine pays 21, 22, 23 hours to do an R&R. Plus swapping everything over. But you fucking asshats will goodwill an engine, and instead of paying the tech that's on the vehicle the labor time that he should be getting paid, you chose to goodwill it. Nobody else did. The service manager, you chose to goodwill it. The general manager, it's your service manager that's doing this. Why the fuck would that tech settle for 14 hours? 15 hours? That engine pays 22, 23 hours. Why the fuck? But you think you're fucking something special? You think you can throw your weight around and treat that guy like a piece of shit and say, no, I'm just going to pay you 14 hours. I'm going to pay you 15 hours. Fuck you. No. Pay him what his time is worth. Pay him what that job is supposed to pay. Goodwill or not. Knock the shit off, right? So this first portion of this talked about labor rates. Or not labor rates, but how technicians are tired of getting screwed. This second portion is now going to talk about how this labor bill, HB 3940, went into effect. So technicians were tired of getting screwed. They're tired of not getting paid. They're standing up for themselves. They're starting to speak up more and more about it. The union listened to all these technicians in this survey, and they're like, yeah, we're getting screwed royally. Okay, it does look like you are 100% correct. So then they turn around and they say, you know what? Let's put something together legally here, and let's go petition the state of Illinois to actually create a labor bill based on our studies and how much these technicians are getting short. Anything that comes out warranty time-wise will be paid to these technicians at 1.5 that times. So, again, if you got a 5-hour job, let's say a water pump timing job, it takes, let's just say 8 hours. That 8-hour job now pays 12 hours. It's 1.5 times the stated labor rate if it's under warranty or it's a recall. Extended warranty really doesn't matter. Aftermarket warranties really don't matter. You can't fight for shit with that. You get what you get, and that's all data time, which that's what you want anyway, at least minimum, right? But if it comes from the manufacturer and it's a warranty, powertrain, bumper to bumper, emissions, whatever that is, 8 years, 100,000 miles, that gets covered at 1.5 times the stated labor rate. Well, we thought it was a great idea, and it sounds like a great idea. I think there's like New York and Illinois and Minnesota or something like that. There's like several states, I forget exactly what all the states, there's several states since all this happened that have adopted this, and they're doing the same exact thing. Now I'm starting to hear more and more from guys in the field exactly what I heard when all this happened. The senior guys in the shop were like, you know what's going to end up happening though? This law is going to go into effect, and here for like 3 or 4 or 5 years, we're going to make more money. What these manufacturers are going to do is they're going to get into the pockets of ALLDATA and Mitchell and all these other people, and they're going to start slowly either funneling some money in somebody's pocket or changing these labor rates, because the 1.5 times the stated labor rate is going to affect overall labor rate. And if these manufacturers want labor rate dropped, what they'll start doing is they'll start decreasing the time that's stated, so it makes it look like you're actually getting paid the same whenever you get your 1.5, when in all reality it's not. That 1 hour job is now going to be 0.7. That 5 hour job is now going to be 3.8. And if you watch over the next 4 or 5 years, what's going to end up happening is they're going to slowly drop labor time on new vehicles so they can actually start saving money and equal out and screw you in the long run. The labor times and all that are going to drop as well, because a lot of that's based on what the manufacturer's saying. You know, it takes X amount of times and a study being done. It used to be that you used to take live people like me and you. They would put senior technicians, you know, master certified technicians, they put them on a vehicle and say, this is the repair, here's the manual, go do the job. And then they would study and monitor the time it took to follow the manual step by step to do the job. Guys that had never done the job before. They studied, like, you know, they'd take like 5 master technicians and put them all on the same job and study how much time it took for each one of those guys with their skill set to do that job, and then they average out the time. That's how it used to. But now it's all algorithm based. It's how many nuts and bolts, how long does it take to typically get to this part, what are you projecting to remove this intake manifold to get to the starter inside the valley. A lot of it is computer projected. I'm not saying all of it, but a lot of it is. But that's inaccurate. It's bullshit. Some stuff we make really good money on and we're faster at than others. Some stuff we lose our ass on. So, technicians now, since this went into effect in 2022 and multiple other states have now adopted it, are starting to state that they notice that ALLDATA customer pay times are actually starting to drop, because these manufacturers are pressing these other companies. They're dropping their warranty times even more to make the adjustment on the actual customer paid ALLDATA side drop as well. And it's actually making us get paid less on the customer pay side because of them trying to fly under the radar with lowering their own labor times. So then they have to pay less money. So now we're going to have to go back to the drawing board if this continues, and this is true, which I haven't seen it, to be honest with you. I've been using ALLDATA now for years, and I haven't seen what some of these guys are saying, but some of these guys are saying they're already starting to see it in their shop, and it's just not one guy. I have so many guys that have been saying that this HB 3940 is actually screwing overall labor time, because they're dropping that to make regular labor time drop, and then they don't have to pay as much money, and it makes them all look good. So in general, I'm starting to wonder, is this going to be an issue? Is this going to be a problem for for technicians to make money? Because these manufacturers, just like what was stated when this happened, I remember it was like Rob's been doing this for like 30 years plus or something like that, and he was like, yeah, what's going to end up happening is they're going to drop regular labor time. So then the ALLDATA time drops, and then we're going to get screwed eventually. It'll catch up eventually. As more people do this, it's going to catch up. They're going to figure out a way to screw the system, so we end up getting screwed. Are you guys seeing this? Are you guys seeing ALLDATA time drop since this HB 3940 went into effect? Are you guys experiencing that there's changes with labor times and stuff now, like out of nowhere? I haven't experienced that yet, but I know plenty of other people in my comment section that work for shops that have said because of this, they do see, because of HB 3940, they do see labor times dropping. And it's starting to screw people because of this. And there's a lot of technicians that are pissed that some of these states have this, because it's making it harder on them in other states, because they're making less money, because the times are dropping to try to accommodate the manufacturer and make them feel like they're not losing as much. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I just wanted to open this discussion up and talk about this morning. It's a very important topic in my life, just as well as many of those of you that follow me. This all ties back into politics and stuff as well. You know, this is why I talk about this stuff on this channel. This is why I talk about our governors and our mayors and the laws and how we're getting screwed over. And I talk about what's going on in the world, because this is part of what's going on in the world. This is part of what these corporations try to get away with. And no matter what, at the end of the day, they've got deep pockets, and they're going to have their way. We're not going to have ours. It might taste good for a little bit, but they're going to change the flavor of that shit real quick and put it right back in your mouth, and you ain't going to like it. You know, somebody says same shit, different day. That's not what I say. I never say that. I haven't said that in years. I say same shit, different flavor. That's all it is. Anyway, hope you all have a great day. I'll have something for you later. Be blessed. Baby back ribs on the smoker. Take care.